Bring the owner here this instant, she screamed. That same sharp edge in her voice, the one I used to confuse with passion, cut through the room. He has no business being here, she declared, loud enough to flip the atmosphere. Her new husband, Greg, the replacement, swelled up beside her. Escort him out now. I stayed silent. The manager turned toward me with a polite smile that never reached his eyes. Sir, how would you like us to handle their family's membership? Their faces fell, and just like that, the situation shifted exactly how I'd planned. 3 years before, I would have done anything to avoid this spectacle. Back then she was my wife. We'd been married 11 years. She laughed too loudly, spent too freely, and craved attention. I mistook it for charm. It was appetite. We joined the country club together, her idea, not mine. It's where real people network, she told me. I thought she meant business. I didn't realize she meant replacement. Greg ran the golf program at the club, tanned, easy grin, the sort you'd nod to on Saturday mornings without a thought. He'd drone on about yardage and swing while she sat on the terrace in a white dress and sunglasses, pretending to read. She wasn't reading. I didn't notice until her phone buzzed at 2 a.m. Club accounting, she said when I asked, and I didn't argue. I only watched her step out of bed barefoot and whisper down the hallway. That whisper told me everything I needed. The next day I didn't confront her. I began to plan. Revenge is an art. Fury only makes noise. Patience makes progress. I chose silence first. I let her believe she'd triumphed. I smiled more, bought flowers, took her to the very club where she'd meet him. I wanted her comfortable and predictable. While she perfected her performance, I quietly rewired our life. The business, listed in both our names, was shifted, shell accounts, ownership funneled into a trust with one crucial clause: any divorce citing infidelity forfeited her rights. She never noticed the documents I handed her. She never read anything I gave her. Then I documented, not with cameras, but with timing, routines, the people she texted after dinner, how long she lingered at the club, the unfamiliar perfume that lingered on her clothes. I logged timestamps, messages, receipts. By the time she walked away for him, I already controlled their future. She thought she was stepping into freedom, moving in with Greg, likely expecting alimony and ease, unaware the accounts were barren, cars leased, and the house already in escrow under my trust. When her lawyer called, she discovered she would receive nothing. Her voice cracked. "You're heartless," she said. I almost smiled. "No," I replied, "just efficient." But my work wasn't finished. Months passed. I kept my distance and rebuilt quietly, watching. They married. She wore the very diamond I had bought, the one she'd once called forever. He surely assumed it was new. Then the club announced trouble. Mismanagement, dwindling membership, debt. Greg had been running operations. The board needed a buyout. That was my opening. An anonymous holding company purchased the club in cash. Once the ink dried, ownership transferred to a new entity, mine. She never suspected. Which brings us back tonight. They entered like royalty in matching outfits and smug smiles, used to being admired here. Her laughter echoed across the lounge. I sat at a corner table pretending to read the paper. Staff greeted me quietly. "Good evening, sir." She spotted me before he did. Her expression froze, then went hard. She mouthed something to Greg and he strode to the front desk. "He doesn't belong here," she spat. "He's not a member." The word belong hung between us, something she'd often said to me during our marriage. You never belonged. Not rich enough, not polished enough. The manager glanced my way and then at her. "Of course, ma'am." He approached my table, hands folded. "Sir, how would you like us to handle their family's membership?" I looked up slowly as the silence lengthened. Her jaw dropped first, then Greg's, his face flushing. What does that mean?" "It means," I said, folding the paper, "you are standing in my club." The room stiffened, conversations dimmed. I felt her pulse from across the room, her composure cracking like glass. I signaled to the manager. "Cancel their membership. Effective immediately." He nodded. "Of course, Mr. Hale." Greg began shouting about rights and humiliation. She didn't speak. Her eyes never left mine, a mixture of rage and dawning understanding. I rose. "You should leave," I said. "There's a private event tonight, members only." Her throat moved as she swallowed pride. As she turned to go she muttered something I barely caught. "You planned this." I planned every second. They exited through the same doors where we once entered hand in hand. The air lightened after they left. Staff pretended not to glance, but I caught faint smirks. Word travels fast in circles built on status. I walked to the bar, ordered a drink, and looked across the golf course, the same course where Greg taught her to swing, where she used to laugh at my awkward attempts. Now every inch belonged to me. I didn't need to tear down her reputation or raise my voice. I waited for her to build on borrowed ground, then I took the ground away. Revenge doesn't have to be loud, it only has to be final. The manager returned quietly. Will that be all, sir? I nodded, watching the empty driveway where they'd just driven off. Yes, I said, that will be all. I sipped slowly, and for the first time in years, it actually tasted